Gurudeva online classes. Myself Parvesh, I am your social teacher of 7th standard. Dear students, now we are in the lesson of the Mughal Empire. In the Mughal Empire, so we have learnt in the last class, we have discussed about how the Babur has entered the India and how he started the Mughal dynasty, and also what are the wars he has fought against the Rajputs and as well as Afghans, and also Ibrahim Lodi. And also we have discussed about the Humayun, and also we have discussed about the Akbar and his achievements in Mughal dynasty, isn't it? So let us recapitulate one by one, and later we can get into the today's class. Okay, so in the last class we have discussed about the Babur. Babur was from the Central Asia, Afghan, and one place Kabul. He was a small place of Kabul. He was a king, and his father was the king of Fargana. Okay, and also he was very attracted by the richness of the India. So that is why he was waiting for the opportunity to attack the India. So that opportunity was given by the Bahulul Lodi, because in the 15th century the India was controlled by the Delhi Sultans. In the Delhi Sultan in the 15th century, the Lodi dynasty was ruling. In the Lodi dynasty, among the brothers, there was a clashes regarding to become the king of the Delhi. So then Ibrahim Lodi was controlled defeated all the brothers, and he was become the king of Delhi. So that is why the Bahulul Lodi, to re-attack the Ibrahim Lodi, he asked the help of Babur. So this was the opportunity was used by the Babur. He was entered the India to support the Bahulul Lodi, okay, and he has announced the war against the Ibrahim Lodi in 1526 in the place of Panipat. So that is why the first war against the Ibrahim Lodi, that we call as the first Panipat in 1526. In this, it was not an easy war to win the Babur, because the Babur had only 6,000 army, but the Ibrahim Lodi had more than thousands of soldiers, and he had very good weapons. So that is why the Babur has used the two important war skills. Okay, as we already know that Taglima and as well as guerrilla. So two important war skills he has used, and also different kinds of weapons he has used in the war, and he successfully defeated the Ibrahim Lodi in 1526. Like this, and also he has also defeated the Bahulul Lodi, and he has started the Mughal dynasty in the India. So after when he started the Mughal dynasty, Rajputs are attacked the Babur, and also the Afghans are attacked the Babur. He has completely defeated all those them in the name of the Panipat in 1526, and next Gogra in 1527, and Kanwa in 1528. So continuously he has involved himself in the war and extending of Mughal dynasty. So in the 1530 he has died in the Hillis. So after the Babur, his son Humayun was ascended the throne, and he was become a king of Delhi. So Humayun, he had a soft corner personality. So that is by using this, the one of the person called the chieftain of Afghan, okay, chieftain of Afghanistan, the Sur dynasty called Sher Shah Suri, he has attacked the Delhi, and he has occupied he has completely won the Delhi and Agra. And also after losing of this war against the Sher Shah Suri, Humayun fled away to the Persia. He ran away to the Persia up to 14 years. So after that 14 years, again he reunited the army, re-attacked the Sher Shah Suri. Okay, and later he defeated the Sher Shah Suri, and he he completely occupied the Delhi and Agra, and again he started doing the administration. So after the death of Humayun, his son Akbar came to the power. So the Akbar, when he came to the power, or when he became the king of Delhi, just he was a 13 years old boy. Okay, and it was opposed by the many kings. In that, one of the king called Bengal king Muhammad Shah Abdali. Muhammad Shah Abdali was the opposed him to become a king of Delhi, and also he sent his commander called Hemu to attack the Delhi. That we call it as, that was war, second Panipat between Hemu and Akbar. So Akbar completely defeated the Hemu and with the help of Bairam Khan. Who was Bairam Khan? Yes, the Bairam Khan was the guider, a teacher, and also chief commander army for the Akbar. Okay, he, by the help of the Bairam Khan, he successfully defeated the Hemu, the commander of Muhammad Ali Shah Asaf. Okay, and also his father name, Akbar father name is Humayun and mother name is Amida Banu, and he born in the Sindh place, in the place of Sindh and Amar Fort. Okay, and after this Akbar, he has started, he knew that he started build the good relationship with the Rajputs, but one of the Rajput called Rana Pratap Singh, he did not like to join hands with the Akbar. Okay, and also he announced the war against the Akbar, that we call it Haldi Ghat War. Haldi Ghat War completely won by the Akbar, but also the Rana Pratap Singh, he did not bow his head, and till his death he completely fought against the Akbar. In that war, the Rana Pratap Singh was died and completely it was won by the Akbar. So if you look into the contribution or what are the achievements of the Akbar, so we have discussed about, he has started the prayer hall. Ibadat Khan, it was the prayer hall was prayer hall established by the Akbar, and also new religion sect called Deen-e-Ilahi, also it is started by the Akbar. Okay, and also the important thing of he has built the one of the capital city called Fatehpur Sikri. So these are the achievements has been done, and also he has cancelled the jizya and pilgrimage tax, and also he has given the higher post for the Hindus. Okay, and he also started the police system, or like also called the Kotwal system in the administration. So these are the greatest achievements has been done by the Akbar. Okay, and also when it comes to the patronage, there is an important poets are Faizi, okay, Faizi, Abdul Fazal, Birbal. The important poets are in this court, and also there is a immortal singer like called Tansen. Also, he was in his court. So this is all the achievements of the Akbar. So after the Akbar, so there is a Aurangzeb came to the power. Today's class we are going to discuss about Aurangzeb. So Aurangzeb, he was called as Almir. He had a title called Almir. So what is the meaning of Almir? Almir in the sense the conqueror, the world king. Okay, the meaning of Almir. So he ruled 15 years in the Mughal emperor, and he is also called, he was the last famous king in the Mughal dynasty. And also he expanded in the all directions. He was tried to expand it in all directions. So he was, and when it comes to the religious policy, he brought the Quran principles in his administration. So he strictly followed. He was completely followed the Quran principles, like doing of high times, and also should not wear the women should not show the face. So what are the rules are there in Quran? Principles are there. So he was completely followed the principles of Quran in administration, and also he was completely prohibited in his administration drinking of wine and gambling and also music. So completely he stayed away, or he completely prohibited in his administration for all these things. For the entertainment of music also he has completely prohibited, and also he was given preference to the simple life for living. So that was his concept, and also the most thing is he was destroyed the many Hindu temples in his administration because of his completely follower of the Muslim. Like Akbar, he was not a tolerant. He was a tolerant. He respected all the religions. But the Aurangzeb, he was a completely follower. He was a completely follower of the Muslim religion. So other religions he was completely he did not like it, and also many Hindu temples was destroyed by the Aurangzeb. And also he reimposed the jizya tax and pilgrimage tax, which we have discussed in the last class. Jizya means non-Muslim tax, and also pilgrimage in the sense that if you wanted to visit the temple, we have to pay the pilgrimage tax. So this was reimposed by the Aurangzeb. So that is why the many rebellions are started. What are the rebellions? Like Sikh rebellions, and also Shivaji and also Rajput rebellions started in this administration. Okay, that is the main thing which he has introduced the rebellion, which he implemented the jizya and pilgrimage. That leads to the many rebellions. One of the main rebellion is Sikh rebellions or Sikh revolt. Sikh revolt is one of the Sikh guru called Tegh Bahadur. He opposed the paying of jizya tax, and also he opposed the paying of jizya tax in Delhi. He was called Sikh Guru. So his son called as Govinda Singh. Okay, Govinda Singh, he has built the new sect called Community of Sikhs, and also he has introduced the 5 castes. What is the meaning of 5 castes? The 5 castes in the sense Kesh and Kagan, Kirpan, Kacha and Kira. Sorry, 5 castes in the sense Kesh, Kangan, Kirpan, Kacha and Kara are the 5 important 5 castes was introduced by the Govinda Singh and also in his Sikh community. So Kesh in the sense who are the 6 people, they should not show the air for the people. So that is what Kesh. Kangan in the sense they should have the separate comb, and also Kirpan, sword is called as a Kirpan. Okay, and Kacha in the sense wearing of knickers, the different varieties of dress, the Sikh dress we call as a knicker, that is Kacha. And Kara in the sense bracelet, steel. These are the customs of these are the tradition of the Sikh people. Because still if you are watching the any Sikh people, the Kesh, Kangan, Kirpan, Kacha or Kara are the dressing code, or they should have that is the traditional custom of the Sikh people. That was started by introduced by the Govinda Singh, the son of Tegh Bahadur. Who was Tegh Bahadur? Tegh Bahadur was opposed the paying of jizya tax in Delhi, and he was killed by the Aurangzeb. Later, the Govinda Singh was started the Sikh community and introduced the 5 castes. 5 castes in the sense Kesh, Kangan, Kirpan, Kacha and Kara. Okay. After this, as I told you that Sikhs and the Rajputs are strongly opposed the paying of jizya tax, and also in the Deccan, in the South India, there is a Deccan Wars are started. Deccan Wars in the sense Shivaji started the Deccan Wars against the Aurangzeb. So continuous war lost the enormous wealth and also large part of his army, and it was completely the Deccan Wars completely slapped the Aurangzeb in economic power. So because of Shivaji attacks, continuous attack of Shivaji, the Aurangzeb completely he has lost his economic power and he has died in the War of Deccan. Okay, and so after this you can go to the cultural contributions. What are the cultural contributions of the Mughal Emperor? The first one is Mughal administration. The Mughal administration in the emperor. So emperor, I mean king. King was a supreme for all the civil and as well as military, for military power. Civil and military power. So he was a he was a head of the civil power and as well as military power. And also he has divided the administration in the provinces, districts and taluks. Also called the provinces are called subas and districts are called sarkars and taluks are called paraganas. So by the easy administration, completely Mughal emperors, or they are divided the administration in the three parts: provinces, districts, taluks, or sabas, sarkars and paraganas. And also to look into the law and in order power, so they have made one of the new system they have introduced, that we call it as a kotwals. So kotwals are they are maintaining the law and also in order to follow the rules. So they have appointed the kotwals. The kotwals now it is become the police system. Okay, this is all about the Mughal administration system and as well as about Aurangzeb.